Hey friends, Pastor Michael from Organic Church. We're excited for another season of growing together. We'd love to have you join us on Sunday mornings at 10 or Wednesday evenings at 7 for friends, family, and a whole lot of Jesus.
Back at it again, Dale. Here we go. Sir. So how you been?
No complaints. No complaints.
Huh?
No, not really.
Wouldn't do you any good anyhow.
No.
Never does.
It hasn't helped to this point, so no complaints.
Yeah.
So leave them all in his hands.
That's right.
He's better at handling them than I am. So.
Yep. Well, we're into the first week of June, so that means we've been at it this year this is our 6th month going in. We're closing in on 25 episodes. So we're doing a real bang up job here, Dale. I think, yeah.
Proud of you. No.
Me? It was all you. I thought I'm following you.
That's like lemmings there. You don't want to do that. But.
Off the Grand Canyon.
Right.
The funny thing about the Grand Canyon saying that, I never studied the Grand Canyon that much. But I always assumed that it was a deep, deep cavern. Mm-hmm. If you fell in there, like you were gone, like nobody'd ever see again.
Yeah.
No, it turns out they do tours where you can go to the bottom and tour the bottom and actually like get in a boat or a raft and travel the water that goes down in there. And and I'm like, no kidding. I had no clue. I thought once you were down in there, you were never coming back.
Yeah, none of that sounds exciting to me.
I was like, yeah. No. Well, I think it would be, but I think it would be a little bit like, I'd have to think about it a little bit. But it would be cool to look up instead of looking down. To actually look up, and that probably would be quite a scene.
Yeah, I always want to see like natural wonders, like at least once in my life see like natural wonders. I'm not so big on like things like the Eiffel Tower or anything like that, but I'm always wanting to see stuff like Grand Canyon, the Painted Desert. They're just different.
Yeah, we did the Painted Desert. We did that on this trip as well. So yeah, you definitely want to. That's another one. It's on the way. On the way.
But that's some. Those are things I would love to do. I like nature, at least looking at it. Not a big like hiker or anything like that. Even though
You're an appreciator.
I am. I like to sit there and think about what it took for him to just carve this out. And I like seeing things that are unchanged. I like to go out and see something that I know it's been this way for centuries and thousands of years, unchanged, untouched, and unspoiled by us. And because we do have that tendency to spoil things when we see that it's popular and we can make a little money off of it. Like, hey, what if we put a fence over here and a couple of buildings and show people what's going on here? It's like, no, that ruins the whole entire point. So you have to hike a little bit to get to it and see it and enjoy it. You don't need to carve out place for hotels.
You don't need to have an escalator that goes right up there.
You don't need that. Just go out there and hike a little bit, get a little exercise, and see something that God created. Yeah.
There was a tour guide at the Grand Canyon, and I was really trying to listen in because his whole premise is he was trying to make the point that the Grand Canyon is where Noah's Ark was.
Really?
Because he was talking about Noah, and he was throwing all these Bible verses out, and I think he was trying to convince the visitors that this is where Noah's Ark either maybe started from or so I was like I thought that's a stretch. But I was really trying to catch his point. I'm like, if I had time, I'd go on this guy's tour just to
because I'm
see
pretty
what he's
sure. I'm not like, don't hold me to it. I'm not like any biblical historian or anything, but I'm pretty sure that they found the ark on Mount Ararat.
Yeah, in Turkey or something
Yeah,
like that?
yeah. And I'm like, so that's nowhere near the Grand Canyon. Now, if you're trying to say they started from America is also a stretch for me, because I'm like...
Unless he was just trying to use it as a comparison of some sorts and still trying to do something biblical, maybe.
Maybe trying to make the event seem more appealing, more or less. Give them something to...
Obviously, as you know, like the Painted Desert and the Grand Canyon, all the colors and the lines you see, they're all horizontal. Mm-hmm. So they don't go, up and down vertical. No. They're all horizontal. Yeah. So you have those layers of water that it went down. So maybe he's trying to make the point like, yep, the waters, it flooded the Grand Canyon and it was here, and then slowly it did what it did. But yeah, I just thought I'd mention that. That I was trying to see if I could catch his point, the point he was trying to make, but I couldn't stick around long enough to see what he was up to. But yeah, he was definitely trying to convince some people that maybe he was just trying to convince that Noah's Ark was possible. I don't know, but I could definitely tell he was throwing out all these Bible verses, and people were asking him questions, and he'd go back to the Bible verses, and so I could just hear it kind of here and there. But yeah, it was kind of interesting. But I don't buy it. I don't know. Like
that's a little bit much for me, or a little a stretch. No disrespect to him or whatever, but it's a bit of a leap.
Yeah.
In my see what I did there.
Yeah. So, well, speaking, you say you don't like. Well, not that you don't like, but you're more interested in natural landscapes and wonders. But have you seen what they're talking about concerning the Lincoln Memorial?
No. What?
Apparently, underneath the memorial is this huge room, like this huge space that's been there the entire time.
And they're just now...
And they have opened it up as a museum. Well, because they built that memorial over swamp area, so they had to install these 50-foot concrete columns that went down beyond the swamp into the solid earth, so that it would support the monument, the memorial. So I guess it's this huge area that's even bigger than the area of the actual memorial, and it almost looks like something out of like a medieval castle. It's got all these columns and yeah, now they're going to open it up to the public for the 250th anniversary of the country.
Nice.
And now there's a Lincoln Museum underneath, and you can go underneath and visit, and you can look up and see where the actual Lincoln actually sits. You know? So you can look up and see that spot. And I told my wife, I'm like, honey, we got to plan another trip to D.C. I got to see this. So yeah, I'm excited. I thought that is pretty cool. So, and I guess you're thinking, really, would you go clear down in there? I don't know how deep it is, but considering those columns were as large and deep as they are, it's probably down there a little ways.
Yeah, as long as I could see well enough, and it's not like super dim, and there's not a bunch of people crowding me or everything. Yeah, I'd probably go down and see it. But when I get into a cramped space, and then there's people pushing me forward and people pushing me back, I just
step back, people.
Yeah, give the old boy some room, because
I think part of the museum is going to be dedicated to Martin Luther King Jr. because he gave us "I Have the Dream" speech there, so we'll have a lot to do with that as well. But I saw it on a clip from I think Good Morning America, one of those shows, and they were giving a little preview of it. And I just thought, no way. Wow. I never knew, being a Lincoln guy, I never knew that. I had no idea.
That's pretty cool.
Wow, that's something else. So that is now on the bucket list.
Oh my! How long is your bucket list
now? It goes on and on. Yeah, that's a hefty bucket. Yeah.
I sort of say, if I really think about it, mine's probably pretty long too.
Yeah.
Most of mine is going places overseas.
Well, it's like when I scratch. This is the way it works. When I go somewhere and scratch it off,
you got to replace it with something.
There's always something that either I've seen along the way, or that spot inspires a different, location. So even when I scratch one out, I'm putting another one on. Yeah. So it's just, never runs out.
Oh, it's never going to be complete.
Yeah,
because
no.
as long as
But I'm
you
fine
got
with
any
that.
kind of as long as you got any kind of desire, it's never going to be complete because you're going to be like, oh, that sounds neat. I'd like to go see that.
Yeah. We don't have time for it this time, but it gives me another excuse to come back out here.
Absolutely.
So it's fantastic. All right, Dale. So you've got this. We'll just jump into it here. So you got this topic you presented a few weeks ago about love versus justice. And I don't know where you're going with it. I'll be honest. Like I didn't try to study up on this. I didn't try to make any connections between the two. So I only have a fair idea of where you're headed. But wherever it is, I think it's going to be.
Once I start, you'll probably have a ton of opinions and feelings about it. It's that, as I said a couple of weeks ago, it was God's love versus God's justice, because most of us, myself included, would prefer God's love, because I don't really think we understand what God's justice is, because a lot of us will say, we get God's love, but we deserve God's justice. But even his justice is something we don't deserve, because sometimes his justice is always fair. And so you can be blessed with something you really did not earn through God. And so he gives you things out of love. He takes things out of justice. He is righteous, and we can't question anything he ever does for or to us, because we've all sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Therefore, whatever he feels we have coming. We can't argue it, because he is perfect. We have sinned. The wages of sin is death. So anything short of him saying, okay, you're finished in this life, is a blessing. Because in my mind, even that's why when circumstances aren't going your way, things aren't, necessarily the way you would like for them to be, in my mind, I'm experiencing his justice, because I'm like, no, it's not. It's not going the way I want it to go. But I know that once I push through this is his justice portion. His justice is hewing the pieces of me that were unwilling to accept who he is and who he says he is, and making me a better Christian. Through his justice, I'm more ready to receive his love. And a lot of people don't want his justice. Like, no, you're gonna do something hard and difficult, and I don't want to be a part of that. We just want the love. I just want to hug you, and I just want you to hug me and pat me on the head, but he doesn't always do that. Sometimes, if he has, like, for example, Jonah, he experienced God's love and justice. And through that, he did what God had called him to do. Because God said, hey, you're going to preach to these people. He's like, I'm not going to do it.
Of all the people, no.
Yeah, he's like, no, not these. Yeah. They hate me. They, we don't get along. They talk about my mama, whatever. And he's like, okay, justice. And he says, sends a whale and, a big fish, because it never says whale.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Sends a big fish. Fish takes him, and that's justice. But in that justice, he experiences God's love, because he lives in that way. He lives in that whale. He lives in that fish, and no harm comes to him. And when he's finally recognized that I ain't getting out of this, and he turns it over, spits him up on the shore, says, get to doing what I told you to do. And so he experiences his love and justice in that moment. And we need both. It's a balance of that. Mm-hmm. We need both of those to do what God is, what God has called us to do. Because we have an opinion of what we want to do. I think pastors spoke about this a week or so ago. I don't remember. But we have an idea of what we want to do. And if it ain't part of my plan, then it's not part of the plan, period. And he's like, no, you have a gift. You need to share this gift in this area with these people because they're ready for you. And that's what sometimes we don't understand. He knows what that situation is ready for. That's why they say things like, you're here for such a time as this. Mm-hmm. Because he made you to go do this, Moses. He made you to go do this, Adam. He made you to go do these things, Samson, whoever. All through the Bible, these people who experienced God's love and justice. And they all wound up doing great things through that. If you only experienced his love, you would, in my mind, you would be a flawed person. He hews those pieces off of you. He trims.
Yeah, you just be a spoiled brat.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like anybody raising a kid. Yeah. You don't give your kid all candy all day. They'll be a toothless, ungrateful child. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you give them, green beans here. Take your vitamin, brush your teeth, and then do your chores. You do those things, knowing that that's going to create a better person. Once they're older, those things are going to be habits, and they're going to be a better person. It's the same with our Lord, because he's going to love you even in the middle of giving you justice. He's going to love you. And then you do all those things, you go through all those things, and you come out with a greater appreciation for him. You come out with a willingness to tell other people about him, which is what it's all about, because he's pushing us to the Great Commission. Mm-hmm. And because to sit on your hands and not say anything to anybody, it's not what he wants for us. So if you're not doing that and you're not doing what he's called you to do, inviting friends to church or whatever, expect a little justice. But also realize that in that justice, he still loves you. Because a lot of people take a bitterness when they receive justice. So what have I done? You know.
But no matter how bad the unwanted situation is, you're never the worse off for it when it's justice.
No.
Like, you don't, like Jonah, I mean, as horrible as that must have been to be in the belly of the fish, when he spits him back up.
Yep. He's whole.
He's whole, and he's actually comes out better than from whence he came. And so that's justice. Like, God doesn't put you in a position just to punish you, to make you feel bad about what you did. And, and so you'll come out, let's say, losing something. You've sacrificed something, so then it maybe in that event you'll be better. That's not justice. Yeah. No, he's putting you in a situation that I think he already knows that you're prepared to handle that unwanted situation. Mm-hmm. Whether you think so or not, he's going to put you through that, because he knows he can push the right buttons. He can guide you in just the right way to where when you come out of that, at the end of it, you can go, yeah, I see it now, Lord.
Yeah,
I see
absolutely.
it, and I'm ready to go. You don't just come out and be like, I feel beaten down. I feel ashamed. I feel, embarrassed. You don't come out of it feeling that way.
Yeah, I think you come out feeling like you're in the shape that you need to be in to handle whatever it is he's called you to do. Like a bodybuilder. Like, you go in, you're this 98-pound weakling and stuff, but you eat your vitamins and you lift weights and you train. Yes, exactly. And then you're lifting your weight, you're working all the proper areas, And next thing you know, you're physically fit. You're ready to do.
Conditioning. You have conditioned yourself for the situation.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what, excuse me, that's what his justice does. It prepares you for other, those other things that you would, that he wants you to accomplish. But there's also another side of justice when you haven't been forthright. You haven't been the kind of person that you need to be, and you've been like backsliding more or less, and that's still kind of like the whole Jonah thing where he's like, this ain't for me, God. I can't do this, and I'm not gonna do it. And belligerence in the face of God is always met with a special brand of justice.
Yeah.
Because he's like almost like that dad that's like, who do you think you are? so he comes with something that instantly gets your attention, because I can almost guarantee you that when Jonah was on the beach and he's like, I'm not doing it, and that big fish popped up, he was like, I've made a mistake. Yeah. It was like the first thing he thought. It wasn't like, oh, that's a big fish. He's like, ooh, I think I messed up. Yeah. Because that has to be totally unexpected. And then to live in that fish and to sit there and contemplate.
You have nothing else to do but contemplate.
Yeah. He's like, well, I'm going to leave you alone in this little fish cave, and you think about what I ask you to do, and by the time you get where I need you to be, you'll be ready. And once he spit him out, he was like, yeah, okay, I see I made a mistake. I'm wiser. I know what my God's capable of. I know he'll go with me. You're bolstered by what happens to you, by your experiences. I mean, like, some people go through some horrendous stuff, things that I feel like if I had gone through it, it would break me. There are people who have been like, just different difficulties in life. I don't have to name them all. People know what the atrocities in life are, and to recover from them and be a mouthpiece for God. I listen to certain people. Like, I listened to this podcast. It's called Compelled, and just brought to you by Compelled. No, but I listened to it, and it's all about these people who had no intentions of following God, and then they talk about it and all the things that they went through in their life, and at the end of it, there's always something always happened that the light bulb came on, and they were on fire for him. And they just went through all these different things, like a person hooked on drugs and thought their life was over, and they just couldn't get out of the cycle of drug addiction and all this stuff. And now they preach at a 200,000 member congregation. They do, missionary work, whatever it is. And that's the kind of things that God's love and justice will do for us. And like I said, I think the reason I wanted to talk about this is because I think in some of the things that are going on with me, I feel like I'm experiencing a lot of that, because I feel like I'm supposed to do something, and I don't always know exactly what it is, but I know he's calling me to do it. So I hear it, and then I'm like, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready. I haven't. It's not an unwillingness to. It's not like Jonah where I don't want to do it. I'm not ready. I want to do it. I want to do it. I want to do what you're asking me to do, but I don't have my sword yet. I don't have my shield. I don't,
all the stars to align.
Yeah, all the planets are not in alignment.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, and I'm like, give me just a little more time. Now I feel like suddenly a few things are like shifting in my life, and I'm like, why is this not as stable as it used to be? Why is this, shifting and that shifting, and it all seems to be like just kind of guiding me back to what he's asking me to do. And I'm like, starting to see that I get it. I'm ready. You just lay down where and when, and I'll do what you're asking me to do. So that's part of why I wanted to talk about this, because I really feel like I'm experiencing a little bit of his love and justice right now. So,
well, how do you get people to recognize that? Because
That
a
they're
person
going
that
through
would be a person that would be going through what you're going through, that perhaps doesn't have the faith that you have, that doesn't have the belief that you have, they can take all of those things that are disrupting their lives and making them uncomfortable. How does a person recognize and appreciate that fact that this is a love and justice response for what's going on in my life, instead of saying, well, gee, everything right now is just going wrong and I can't seem to do anything right, and why is God doing this to me? Why is God... Because a lot of people say that. Why is God punishing me? Like, what have I done that God would punish me? I go to work every day. I come home and take care of my kids.
I would put it this way. If you are a person who can give God any kind of credit or blame in what goes on in your life, and you're like, why is God punishing me? You already know that you need to examine what is going on with you, because God is perfect. And if he's doing something in your life that you feel is like dragging you down or feels a little bit like torture or whatever, you need to examine what's going on with your life that is uncomfortable for you. There's a lot of things that we do, we enjoy, bowling, all this other stuff. But there's
bowling.
Bowling. I love to bowl. Don't do that. But when you have a gift for something, but in your mind it's not something, like a lot of people are not public speakers. They're like, one of the fears I have, public speaking. And
I always like the Seinfeld reference when he says, a survey says that a majority of the people would rather be in the casket than doing the eulogy.
Absolutely. But when you feel that, like I said, for public speaking, and you'll feel it on your heart that God is calling you to do something. And if you feel like it's you needing to address people, to become a pastor, or to do whatever it is, to understand if God is moving on that, hit your word. I mean, I know a lot of people don't automatically, when things are going wrong, don't get into their word.
That's very true.
They fall on what they understand. They, why doesn't my wife love me? Is she cheating on me? Is she this?
Well, and
is she that?
They fall more towards the worldly things.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
Try to medicate that, or to try to, to deal with it. You'll tend to lean more on worldly things other than going, like as you said, right to your word.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because he is in the word. The Bible is alive, and that's what people have to understand. If you are struggling to, why am I being punished? Why is this going wrong? Why is that going wrong? Why do I feel this way? The Bible answers all those kind of questions. A lot of times you can go to the books that I like when I'm like struggling with like myself, or why is this going on or that's going on, is Psalms and Proverbs, because those are the books of, in my mind, they're books of wisdom. They're like, a woman is to be treasured, and things like advice and counsel type things. And so I go in there, and a lot of times I'll find my message in there. I'll find what God's trying to tell me in there. But It doesn't have to be those two particular books,
Sure.
but get into the Word and just thumb through it if you want. Just thumb through it, find a verse, read His Word, and if He has something for you, it'll pop out, and you'll gain clarity, especially if you pray over it before you do it. Like, God, just, I'm struggling. I'm reading your word, hoping for clarity. Mm-hmm. I pray, Father God, you give me wisdom as I read this word, and bring whatever it is you have for me to my mind. Whatever prayer, gets you into that frame of mind where you're ready to receive when you're reading that word. But read the word. Because that's what we don't do. We lean on ourselves, or we lean on a friend, or she said this to me, or my kids are so unruly, and I do. And so, what do you do for your kids? Do you medicate them? Do you give them melatonin? And so, just we look at, like you said, we look at worldly remedies.
Yeah.
And the worldly remedies are not always going to give us what we need, because when God has a mission for us, you can't find what it is He wants for you in worldly things. So you have to go to that word, and that will make it clearer for you.
Yeah.
And that's what I do anyway. That's how I.
Well, I think a lot of people think that first they have to be they have to find their safe space and their comfort zone and be in a good place before they can pray or get into the Word. Like, they can't pray in times of distress.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's not, like, they just can't do it. It's just, and it should be the exact opposite. That's when you really.
I know. I've never understood that.
But I understand that. I mean, I do understand that it's very easy for a human being to, especially in the world we live in today, it's very easy to look towards more worldly things to get some sort of comfort and distraction from whatever what's going on in your life that, like I said, you don't want to deal with. You don't want to accept that this is what either you're supposed to do, or this is the justice that you're supposed to,
receive. Yeah.
Receive. And, I don't know this to be fact, but I would assume that most prisoners and criminals that get their paroles would probably be those that have accepted justice. They have realized that, yes, this is what I've done. This is a price I must pay. This is my sentence, so I'm going to accept the justice that's been laid upon me, and I'm going to serve my time with dignity, and I'm going to try to grow from this and learn from it. And I would guess a lot of times those are the people that do get out and move on.
Yeah. Unlike those ones who are making constant appeals for mercy.
Yeah. Well, constant appeals for mercy, or just, well, guess what? I'll just be more disruptive.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'll be that guy in prison that just, just is, I'm that guy that's just going to cause problems for everybody, and I'm just not going to accept.
Spend your life in solitary.
That was just some judge, that I might have done what I did, but it wasn't that bad, or I didn't deserve this, and
he doesn't know what I came from. And
So it's just, they're never willing to accept that justice, and if you don't accept the justice, you can never experience the love. It's just you have to hold yourself accountable and know that when, guess what, I'm not doing what God has intended me to do. It's just, you can, and maybe people who are not believers cannot feel that on their heart. I don't know. And maybe that's another important part to talk about is, how do you get an unbeliever to even consider the fact that God is calling on you, and you just, you can't receive it. And I bring up this point because, we have a truck driver that comes in to the shop pretty regularly now. And before he started coming, there was another driver with the same company. And I think I told you about this before. He comes in, he's got a cross on his hat, he's got a T-shirt that says Jesus. Like, he's just pronouncing Jesus from head to toe. And for whatever reason, this particular person told me about the driver we have now, that he got in an argument with him, that the guy's an atheist, and criticizes him for, wearing, Jesus from head to toe and, didn't toe. They just go at it because of their, conflicting beliefs. And the way that this driver does come in from his demeanor, I can assume that, he probably is an atheist just by the way he behaves and by the way he, like, I try to be, like, nice and respectful and try to draw him out, but can't do it. And in my mind, I have this conflicting feeling of, one, well, he's the enemy because he's an atheist. He's against God, so he must be my enemy. But at the same time, there's another part of me that goes, somehow I'm going to get this guy. And I might not be able to get him to believe in Christ, but I'm going to get this guy to at least come around to his natural, what God would have him do.
Yeah, to his default setting.
Yeah, to be a better human being. To at least try to draw that out of him. Because it's like, I know it's in there somewhere. He just doesn't know it's in there, and he's fighting it tooth and nail for whatever's happened in his life that's made him choose this path of resistance. Somewhere in there, is what you're trying to find. Is what God wants to reveal. And so many times I think we could be, instead of giving love to people like that, we can just serve justice. Like I said, I'll be like, well, okay, I'll just treat him as the enemy then, because it's clear he's not on my side. So what do I do with that? Do I just treat him as an enemy, or do I keep working on him? And we all have that responsibility, I think, as Christians, to say, it's not my job to hand out the justice. It's my job to love. So as long as he keeps coming in, I'm going to keep being that same person God has led me to be.
It's us to be
and try to draw it out, because that's all you can do.
It's us to be consistent examples of God's love, I think.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing as like to have somebody, let's say like him, throwing rotten fruit at you all the time. And you come back to him with nothing but, like, hey, how you doing, brother? And he hits you with another rotten tomato. But every day you're giving him that, that example of love.
So he can say, hey, this guy's a little different.
Yeah, it's like, because your behavior, and you'll be like, I've been really rotten to this guy, and every time I come in, he's pleasant. He offers me a bottle of water. Sit down. He wants to talk about my kids, and I'm always like gruff with him. And eventually, it's an erosion process, because we plant seeds, but
he might be God the Grand Canyon. I don't know. but God gives the increase, and He gives it in His time. You can water a person for years and years and years, and not to be morose, but you can be on your deathbed, and that can be where that person is like, I should have told him. I should have told him how I felt. I should have told him that he changed my life. He did this, he did that for me. You may never know that seed that you're constantly planting day in, day out, you may never see it. But it's not for us to see when that growth happens. It's for it to happen, period. That's all we shoot for, is for that growth to happen, whether we see it, get to see it or not. So just continue to present an image of God's love, and God will do the rest. And every time that you present that to Him, or every time it seems like it's a little bit difficult, you're like, God, keep me on the path, because this guy's difficult. He don't want it, but he needs you. Yeah.
And so just give me the words, give me the attitude, keep my spirit clean, keep my attitude toward him mild, keep it pleasant, and let something that I've done genuinely affect him in a way where he sees it's you and not me. Because a lot of times, there's people can be nice and not know God.
Oh, sure.
And so you have to make sure that you're asking God, let him see you in what I'm doing. Don't let him see that I'm a nice guy.
Right.
Let him see you in me.
Yeah. That's a great point. Absolutely. But we live in a world where, obviously justice is a necessary part of our society, and a lot of people can feel like they need to take that into their own hands. And I think as a society we focus more on that than we do on love. And don't get me wrong, I mean, it is a necessary part of our world. But I sometimes, as you discussed at the very beginning, I think we fail to see where God plays a part in that and what the process is from love to justice and back. I think we miss that a lot of times, and we just focus on the justice, eye for an eye.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times that's the only thing that's going to satisfy a lot of people, is if they feel that justice has been served in their eyes, not God's.
And that's where we fall as far as justice. When we try to dispense justice, because it's not for us to do that. Justice is God's playground, because we're to demonstrate love. We are on this earth to demonstrate God's love, because there's enough people that are out for justice, out for revenge, and out for this and out for that. There are not a lot of examples of love going around.
No.
I mean, if I think about this all the time. If everybody, I mean everybody, whenever you ran into somebody, it was a requirement that you say to them, "I love you," but you have to mean it. The things you would have to do in your own heart and your own life to make that possible, because we're talking enemies, friends, stranger on the street. You have to, every time you see them, "I love you," and mean it.
Yeah.
The change that would happen in this world if you had to present love first before you said anything else, before you any other actions, to sincerely say "I love you" to anyone and everyone you meet. Because if you're sincere, then you can't follow it up with "I love you," So if you're sincere about it, then you have that love mindset.
Yeah.
Now that other person,
I'm thinking about that old, was it Budweiser commercial? Where the dude be like, "I love you, man."
"I love you, man."
Yeah. Just no matter who he's talking
right,
to. "I love you, man." That's what we got to do.
Every time I think of Budweiser, I can only think of that "What's Up" commercial.
Yeah.
But it just changes everything, all the aspects of how you deal with people and how we would treat each other.
Well, and we wouldn't need justice as much as we do if that was the case. Like, a lot of people don't realize. You realize the reason you got to hand out justice to this person is because nobody expressed any love to him in the first place.
Oh, absolutely.
It's as simple as that. I mean, that's a big problem. And this world is not an even playing field. It's easy for people like you and me. We have a caller, ladies and gentlemen.
No, we do not.
It's easy for people like you and me to find it easier to have this idea that we should treat people this way, because we've been very blessed to have parents that showed us that love. That came easy to us. Love came easy to us because we had people that would love us before they would hand out justice. But this world is not an even playing field, and you've got millions of people in this world who, from the time that they're born and raised, they're getting nothing but rough justice.
Oh, absolutely.
At the hands of somebody that, doesn't care.
Could care less.
Could care less about, love or their well-being. And so that's a tough one to say to people, to try and instruct people to do when you know that this world is not an even playing field. But I think we have to have that realization. That's our responsibility, as you said, to be like, look, if we all just focused more on trying to love people and show them that first, and it wouldn't be all this justice that we try to inflict and uphold, it wouldn't be necessary.
Absolutely not.
You know, yeah. And I think that's the thing. I don't think God relishes in that justice. I think He'd rather have all the love.
Yeah, because that's what He calls us to do. He says, "Love thy neighbor as thyself."
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, He doesn't say hand out justice to everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So He wants us.
Yeah, if you
to
look
love
in the
our
Bible,
neighbor.
I mean, if you look in the Bible, I think anytime He's talking about justice,
It's
he's
him.
he's the only one laying
Yeah.
that out. Everybody else has a
It's
responsibility
like,
to love.
Yeah, you don't worry about justice. I got justice. You worry about loving people. You love your neighbor. You go out and do, as we mentioned before, the Great Commission. You go out and, make disciples of people.
Yeah.
You go out and show love. Because I guarantee if you're dispensing justice, trying to make disciples,
Yeah,
nobody wants
the
to
ills
get
of
with
this
that.
world are not going to be cured by justice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
it'll contain some things. Like I said, I realize it's a necessary part of our world. It contains certain things so that we can all feel a certain level of safety,
Mm-hmm.
And you can't just let things run rampant. You can't let
absolutely.
things be
You can't
completely
have
out of control.
anarchy.
So no, you can't. So I get when there, some people are just. I mean, yeah, there's some people that are just really hard up. Like, all this person deserves is hard justice. Never thinking about the fact that, well, maybe if we could turn back the clock and go to the point in this kid's life where it was like, all this kid needed was for somebody to say, "I'm proud of you. I love you." He might have not went down that road.
Absolutely.
That's all there is to it. That doesn't take any justice.
Yeah. Well, it puts me in mind of the king and the slaves. When the slave came to him, and he had this huge debt that he hadn't paid, and was before the king, and he begged him. It was like, just let me go. I'll never be able to make it up, and just begged him to let him out of his debt, and the king did so. And then he goes, and there's another slave who owes him money, and he comes to him and says, "Show me mercy," and he doesn't. He throws him in prison.
Yeah,
we receive love instead of justice sometimes from the Lord, and so it's up to us, knowing that we should have gotten justice, when we deal with somebody in that same way, to dispense that love as well. But a lot of times, instead of dispensing that love, we want to dispense justice. I'm not good. You know what they called me the other day? They called me out my name and all this other stuff. Instead of just saying, how much did that really affect you?
Mm-hmm.
And what do you gain if you return that with love instead of meeting it with what you got, instead of giving tit for tat?
Yeah. But we live in a world where social media could not survive in that realm.
Oh, no.
Yeah, because as we were talking about when we weren't on the air, just Facebook, and everybody feels like their opinion matters, and that's how they get their fulfillment, is to comment on something, even though in their heart they know they shouldn't say that
Yep.
They shouldn't go down that road, that they shouldn't criticize it, that's not going to do anybody any good, and their opinion is not going to change the situation, but they still feel a sense of fulfillment in their own heart and being, that if I comment on this and then somebody comments on what I commented on, then it's all worth it. It's
I am now validated.
I'm validated. And whether it's positive or negative, most times it's people go to the negative in order to get validation. I can, being a Gettysburg scholar, you'd be surprised how, there's certain discussion sites and stuff on Facebook for the battle. Most people just relish in trying to prove somebody wrong about this most mundane point of fact things of the history of the battle, most people just want to look like they know more than you do. That's what they're out to do. They can't just say, hey, man, that was a great point. Now, I do have a different opinion. I have some other things that I think maybe should be looked at. Oh, no, it's got to be like, you don't know what you're talking about. You haven't read your history.
And then the names come out.
And it's just like, really? Like, but that's what gives people gratification is to criticize somebody else's viewpoint. And people get fulfillment out of that. And it's just like, I don't know how you can live with that in your heart all the time.
That's to me anyway, a hard road to travel.
Yeah.
To be that kind of person, that like you wake up and even if you're not on social media, just when you're talking, like say you're in a diner or something and somebody's talking to you and they're sharing their experiences or whatever, and you're like, that's not really quite accurate. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
What is that doing for you, and what's it doing to them? Because we don't split our feeling on things. We only concern ourselves with how does that make me feel? Mm-hmm. How am I lifted up by this? How am I bolstered by this? We don't consider how am I tearing them down? How am I destroying their self-esteem? How am I making them see me differently? How am I making them see the realm of Christian?
Yeah.
Because you're supposed to be a Christian, and you sat there, you called me stupid, and what kind of Christian are you?
Yeah.
And so you isolate people by your behavior toward them. Yeah. And that's why I say the impossible thing about telling somebody, I love you and meaning it. And I say impossible because I know people are going to wake up in the morning and you have your thing and you go through your routine and somebody's going to cut you off in traffic and you're going to be like, you knucklehead.
Yeah.
Oops.
Oh, yeah.
So you're going to live your life and do those things, and to say I love you all the time is difficult. But you can carry it in your heart.
Yeah.
And you can always, if you can't say it to somebody, you can always carry it in your heart, and you can always approach situations in life just, God, I know they didn't mean to cut me off. And if they did, have mercy on them. I love them with the love of the Lord.
Yeah.
Just move on.
Yeah.
And you can say that in your heart.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully you're meaning it. But I know if it's me and that happens.
There were a few times on that cross-country trip where I was like,
a little touch and go.
Really? You just cut me off.
Especially through Dallas, right?
Oh. God bless those people. I don't know how they do it every single day. I would just love to. I don't even want to know how many minutes of their lives they waste every day in that traffic. God bless them.
I complain about Philadelphia because
I've never been to Philadelphia.
Philadelphia, it's different. It's not zoom, zoom, zoom. It is bumper to bumper.
Just a crawl.
It's a crawl, and then all of a sudden somebody cuts in front of you, and they're like 4 inches from your bumper, and I'm like, Ugh. We went through Philadelphia. My wife had to drive for me because
Really?
Oh yeah, I was losing it, and she's like, just pull over in that gas station and I'll drive.
Yeah, that's not Marky.
No, I was not up to the challenge.
She was like, yeah, Lord, just please get us through this. That was the worst experience ever. And I'm like, yeah, but it was worth it. And she's like, I don't know about that.
Yeah. No, Connie will.
That almost broke her, like for the trip. I was like, that I had to build it back up a little bit after that. But
I think if I went now, I'd be fine. But at the time I went through there, I was not a big city driver.
Yeah.
And
like I said, again, the world is not an even playing field. You could go from driving down a nice country road to being in the middle of that, which, again, I did. Like, at one point I'm in New Mexico. I don't see one car for a half hour. Next thing I know, I'm in Dallas and just fighting for
space on the road and hoping you can keep pace.
Yeah. Hopefully the GPS don't fail.
Right.
And it's just like, gosh, yeah. So
we used to have that GPS. We had a GPS that would tell you turn right, but it had like a little extra like a little extra section before you're actually supposed to turn. So it would say, turn right. And it wouldn't give you like the street or nothing. It would just say, turn right. I was like, okay, right here. And it's like, recalibrating.
Now's not the time.
No.
Yeah.
You need to be on it.
Yeah, and I'm not. Yeah, it's like I want to hear say like, okay, at the next light.
Yes.
Give me something specific. Don't tell me in 800 feet.
Yes.
Right now, it's like I can't measure 800 feet. I'm sorry, can't do it.
It's like you have somebody on the hood of your car with them.
Yeah, I'm like just tell me like this, and sometimes it will, but then there's other times where it just totally lets you down, and it's just like
absolutely.
It's just So all of a sudden it's like you told me to turn left. Now I'm going down one way I shouldn't be going down, or I'm going into an intersection I shouldn't be going into.
Yeah, the same GPS I have.
And the wife would be like, the left is right there. I'm like, honey, my periphery vision is like this.
Yeah,
like locked in box. And being in the passenger seat, I see how you can look and see everything. I said, but I'm just locked in like right here. So if it's not in my immediate periphery, I can't see it.
Exactly.
I'm just, trying not to make any mistakes. And maybe sometimes that's the bad thing about GPS is that you rely on it so much that you forget to just look up and look around a little bit and try to. Sometimes I wonder if I just do better if I just know GPS.
I want to say yes.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I would have said yes, because back in the day, it was like you kind of had to have an idea of where you're going.
Yeah. You had to map it out a little bit.
Yeah. But nowadays, we get that GPS, and it's like, at the second light, turn left. And you start to rely on that.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think that kind of thing dulls your senses.
Yeah, because once she doesn't say it, then it's like you're lost and you're nervous.
Yeah. And the number of times you look at the GPS when you don't hear from it for a while, like it says, stay on this path for 26 miles. And about the 13th mile, you're like looking, going.
You do. You're like, I know I'm going west. I know I'm going in the right direction, but you still got to look.
You still got to look. So you don't even.
Wake.
Yeah, you don't even trust your own own instincts as to how far that distance is. You're like, what's the GPS say? Oh, I still got 13 to go. So, it's just a sign of the times. But it stops you from relying on yourself.
Yeah.
And that's like, I tell Spencer, my son, every once in a while, we'll quiz each other about stuff. And we're not allowed to Google it for like 10 seconds. Like, we'll be like, what was that first song that Prince ever made? And instead of going, automatically going, what was Prince's first song, and Googling it, we have to give ourselves time to actually
have a conversation.
Yeah, have a conversation about it. Actually, list in our head like, well, he had this album and that album, and what was on this one, and actually try to reason it out as to what his first popular song was, which I don't know in case people are trying to
I think it was something like "I Want to Be Your Lover." I want to be your lover. Or I want to be loved. Something like that. I think
it might have been. I want to be your lover.
Top 40 hit. And don't ask me how I remember that, but that's just random.
If that's it, I'm impressed, because I can't remember what it was. But we do things like that, and we purposely try to jog our own memory to get away from relying on technology and relying on something else to give us things. But I think a lot of times that just kind of weakens us, not spiritually, but emotionally can weaken us, because we're doing things the easy way. And, we're just kind of drifting around, hoping that the GPS takes us where we're supposed to go, and
Prince's first U.S. Top 40 hit was "I Want to Be Your Lover," which peaked at number 11 on the Billboard Hot 100 in 1979.
Oh my gosh! Chalk one up for the Nixter. I was impressed. As soon as you said I want to be your lover, I was like, that sounds about right.
And I don't even really ever listen to that song, but for some reason.
I didn't think you were. When you're telling me you're listening to Buddy Holly and stuff like that.
I mean, I listen to Prince. I like Prince, but I don't listen to that particular song. But I think I've just studied the charts enough and music enough that somehow that's stuck in my head, I guess. I don't know.
Well done. So, proud of you.
So what's the prize? Is there a prize?
No. This is a no prize podcast. That's down the line. We'll give prizes out.
Okay.
Once you guys start calling in or sending us emails, we'll start having prizes.
Yeah. So, well, I'll go home proud anyway.
Yeah.
So, somebody will be proud of me.
Oh yeah, I'm proud of you. I didn't think of it. So
I mean, I couldn't give you one lyric in that song. I couldn't sing it to you.
See, now that's
in my
different.
mind right now, I can't even hear the song in my head. But for some reason, I just knew the title, and I knew it was his.
I could sing it. I just couldn't tell you whether it was his first hit or not.
Yeah. So.
But we all have our talent.
That's right. What else you got? You got anything else? Did you bring anything else to?
Now I think about it.
Are we moving into our final thoughts for the evening?
I would say so. I would just say that not to forget as you go through your day and as you go through your life about God's love and his justice and what he has purposed for you. A lot of things are difficult now, and they'll be more difficult in the future. And we're always going to have things we want to accomplish, and we can't accomplish anything without the love of God. We can't do anything worthwhile without that he is backing us up. Enjoy his love, but never forget that he tempers us through his justice. So when you're experiencing his justice, when you're experiencing hard times, when you're experiencing things you don't want to go through, it's just he's guiding you to the door for your next adventure. He's preparing you for whatever it is that's coming next. And so just be receptive to it, because that's where I'm at now. Because I know something is coming. I know something big is coming. And I know whether it's me personally or me and my family, I know we're getting ready to explode. And I have to be in that spot. And there's going to be a lot of justice to come along with the love. So remember his love and accept his love and be grateful for his love. But also be grateful when you're receiving that justice, knowing that he's leading you to that door. So that's probably pretty much my last thought.
I think that sums it up, huh?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, we will look forward to more episodes to come. We'll have to put our heads together, headbutt, so to speak, and come up with some new ideas. And we got 6 months to go, Dale.
Yep.
Does that feel all?
You guys have any ideas? Email them to us. Yeah. We'll do request.
Yeah.
We'll do request.
We play request.
Yes,
here.
we do.
I can't play I Want to Be Your Lover, but,
right?
But
But
I'll leave that to Dale, I guess.
No, he won't. No. We'll leave that to you guys. Just Google it, put it on iTunes or something. Just don't count on us to sing it.
No, not a good idea. All right, Dale. Well, hey, pray us out tonight.
Yes, sir. Father God, I thank you so much for this day, for the ability to enjoy your love, to understand that you love us so deeply that no matter how great our sin was, you were there for us. You provided your Son in a way out. But never to forget that your justice tempers what we're to do in the future, Father God, that it guides us, it strengthens us, and it enables us to see what it is you have for us. We can spread your love and your word to other people, to other places, and show people what it is that you are capable of, that you are who you say you are, King of Kings, Lord of Lords. Thank you once again for allowing me to be with my friend Nick and enjoy the time that we spend together just discussing what value you have in our lives and how we want others to cope with those things that are going on in their life through you, that you are the way, the truth, and the life. We pray, Father God, that we have traveling mercies as we leave here. Pray, Father God, that you just bless our friends, our families, and turn our enemies into friends. And we're all following you and hoping, Father God, that what we do is pleasing in your sight. And all these things we pray in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Hey friends, Pastor Michael again. If you've enjoyed this podcast, you should consider joining us on Sunday mornings. Our address is 1943 North Water Street Extension in Yorksville. We'd love to have you join us for an in-person service.